In episode 3, BlueRiver defined what its QMS must include to serve its chosen promises. The system boundary is clearer and the critical processes are more visible. But a scope statement and a process map do not make decisions by themselves. People make decisions, and those decisions reveal the real quality culture of the organization. Now, episode 4 begins with pressure, a possible cap problem, a late shipment, and a truck waiting at dispatch. The question is simple: how should leaders shape quality decisions and behavior? The shift is almost over, and the dispatch window is closing. The operator has not found a confirmed defect, but she has noticed moisture around several caps. It may be condensation, it may be a cap issue, it may affect only a few bottles. So, the fastest option is to ship and investigate later. The safest option is to stop, segregate, check, and decide. This is exactly where quality culture becomes visible. Not in the policy displayed on the wall, but in the action taken when conformity, delivery, cost, and customer pressure collide. So, quality culture is not an abstract concept. It is the pattern of decisions people make when nobody has time for a long meeting. So, do they stop when conformity may be at risk? Do they verify before releasing a product? Do they escalate when authority is unclear? Do they communicate early when delivery may be affected? Do they learn from the event, or do they search for someone to blame? Ethical behavior is also practical. It means not hiding risk because the shipment is late, not bypassing approval because the customer is powerful, and not treating silence as a control. Leadership is not limited to speeches, signatures, or attendance at management review. Leadership is demonstrated by priorities, resources, authority, and follow through. People notice what leaders ask first. They notice whether delivery volume matters more than product conformity. They notice whether bad news is punished or welcomed early. They notice whether managers remove obstacles or merely repeat slogans. So, if leaders say quality comes first but reward only shipments, people will understand the real policy. So, culture follow consequences. In episode 3, BlueRiver translated strategic customer choices into scope and process architecture. The company chose to focus on regional retailers and selected private label customers, and that choice created promises. So, for retailers, BlueRiver must protect dependable supply, delivery reliability, stable packaging, and responsive communication. For private label customers, or for selected private label customers, it must protect controlled customization, specifications, artwork, traceability, and change control. So these promises create leadership obligations. Leaders must ensure that the system and the decisions within it protect what BlueRiver has chosen to make important. A quality policy should not be a decorative statement. It should guide trade-offs. So, a generic policy that says only that the organization satisfies customers and improves continually may be compliant in appearance, but it does not help the line supervisor facing the cap problem. It does not explain which promises matter most, which capabilities must be protected, or which decisions should not be made under pressure. So, a useful policy connects strategy, customers, capabilities, and commitments. It becomes a compass for managers and employees. So, a quality policy should not eliminate tensions between competing priorities. Those tensions are real. BlueRiver must deliver on time, control costs, protect product conformity, and retain customer confidence. The role of the policy is to establish the principles by which those tensions will be resolved. So, when indicators point in different directions, the policy should help leaders determine what must be protected, what can be negotiated, and what must never be sacrificed. In that sense, the quality policy is not merely a statement of intention. It is part of BlueRiver's decision-making architecture. So, the quality policy defines what the organization stands for and what it will protect when delivery, cost, conformity, and customer trust come into conflict. BlueRiver uses 4 building blocks to draft a quality policy. So, the first block is identity. Who are we and what do we do? The second block is target customers. Who have we chosen to serve? The third block is capabilities. What must we excel at to serve those customers well? And the fourth block is commitments. What must we always respect, including applicable requirements and continual improvement? The strategic power of the policy comes mainly from the first 3 blocks. The last block is essential, but it is the minimum every organization must accept. So, the first block is identity. BlueRiver is a mid-sized producer of bottled water and flavored beverages operating from one production site and serving regional markets. Now, this seems obvious, but it matters. BlueRiver is not a premium hospitality service company. It's not an unlimited customization workshop. It is also not only a production line. It is an organization that must connect customer promises with operational capability. So, the policy should begin from that reality, not from slogans that could belong to any business. The second block is target customers. So, in episodes 2 and 3, BlueRiver made a working strategic choice. It will focus on regional retailers and selected private label customers. And that choice must now appear in the quality policy. Regional retailers value dependable supply, stable packaging, reliable delivery, and fast communication when supply is at risk. Selected private label customers value controlled customization, specification control, traceability, release discipline, and approved changes. A policy that says all customers equally gives no real evidence when trade-offs appear. The third block is about capabilities. So, if BlueRiver wants to serve regional retailers and selected private label customers, some capabilities must become reliable. It must plan capacity, control specifications and artwork, manage suppliers, protect traceability, release products correctly, and communicate deviations before customers are surprised. These are not abstract values. They are things the system must repeatedly do well. The policy should point toward them so that objectives, resources, process controls, and behavior can be aligned with the chosen promises. The fourth block contains commitments. BlueRiver must commit to meeting customer, legal, regulatory, and other applicable requirements. It must commit to continually improving the effectiveness of the QMS. But in episode 4, we also make the practical meaning clear. These commitments protect conformity, traceability, and customer confidence. They also create boundaries for behavior. So when commercial pressure conflicts with quality, risk, ethical behavior means respecting those boundaries, rather than hiding the problem or hoping the customer will not notice. So commitments establish the boundaries within which commercial and operational decisions may be made. So delivery dates, production sequences, overtime, transport arrangements, and customer communications may sometimes be negotiated. Concealing uncertainty about conformity, bypassing release controls, or providing misleading information cannot. The policy, therefore, does more than identify desirable outcomes. It distinguishes between priorities that leaders must balance and boundaries they must not cross. This is where the policy begins to express BlueRiver's ethos. Here is a first draft of BlueRiver's quality policy. It's not perfect, but it is useful because it is specific. So it begins with identity. So BlueRiver produces bottled water and flavored beverages from its regional production site. It names target customers, regional retailers, and selected private label customers. It names the capabilities that matter: capacity planning, specification and artwork control, reliable suppliers, product conformity, and rapid response to deviations. And finally, it includes the commitments that help solve conflicts and the commitments required by ISO 9001, applicable requirements and continual improvement of the QMS. A useful policy should pass the Roger Martin reversal test. So if we reverse the first three blocks, the opposite should be plausible. So BlueRiver could have chosen premium hospitality, one-off customization, or a pure lowest cost model. Those alternatives are not absurd. They will simply require a different system. That means the policy is making real choices. The final block is different. The opposite of meeting requirements and improving the QMS is absurd. That is why the commitments block is necessary for compliance, but is not where strategy lives. A quality policy must provide a framework for objectives. BlueRiver should be able to translate its policy into measurable priorities. If the policy mentions reliable delivery, one objective may concern on-time, in-full delivery. If it mentions controlled customization, BlueRiver should monitor artwork and specification errors. If it mentions traceability, traceability tests become meaningful. If it mentions responsive service, response time to deviations matters. This is how policy moves from words to management discipline. The policy points to the results, and the objectives make those results measurable. Now, top management must make the policy credible through actions. Leaders must protect conformity when shipment pressure rises. They must give people authority to stop, segregate, and escalate. They must resource the critical processes identified in episode 3. They must remove incentives that reward local optimization while damaging customer promises. They must communicate honestly when a commitment is at risk. And they must turn failures into learning rather than blame. Leadership commitments is not simply telling people to be careful. It is designing conditions in which the right decision is possible. Expected behaviors make culture observable. BlueRiver defines what quality first means for different roles. An operator should stop and segregate product when conformity is uncertain. A supervisor should escalate decisions that affect release or delivery promises. Sales and customer service should not accept changes without reviewing capability and risk. Quality should provide evidence-based release decisions and clear advice. Managers should reward early warning, not silence. And this is how culture becomes practical. It's not a mood, it's a pattern of expected behavior. Now we return to the beginning, okay? Now we return to the CAP problem. The correct response should not depend on personal courage alone. The system should make the expected behavior clear. So, the operator detects the signal and segregates the affected pallet. The supervisor verifies what is known and escalates when release or delivery may be affected. Dispatch is informed, so the customer receives accurate information if the delivery window is at risk. After containment, BlueRiver investigates the cause and improves the process if the issue is systemic. That is culture supported by leadership, policy, authority, communication, and learning. The pallet is not held because quality always defeats delivery or because risk must always be avoided. It is held because conformity has not yet been confirmed and BlueRiver's policy establishes the boundaries for this decision. Reliable delivery remains important, which is why verification and customer communication must be rapid. But delivery performance cannot be improved by transferring an undisclosed risk to the customer. The decision, therefore, reflects the complete policy rather than the isolated optimization of one indicator. Now, the practical output of episode 4 is a connected set of management tools. BlueRiver has a quality policy built from 4 blocks: identity, target customers, key capabilities, and commitments. It has leadership commitments linked to the promises chosen in episodes 2 and 3. It has expected behaviors for decisions under pressure. And it begins to define decision rules for holding product, releasing product, escalating risk, and communication with customers. The next question moves to customer requirements. What exactly did BlueRiver promise the customer? And how should those promises be reviewed before they enter the system? So this is topics for episode 5. So if your organization needs support with the transition to ISO 9001:2026, or if you are looking to improve your current quality management system, perhaps I can help. I also support organizations that are starting from the beginning and want to implement ISO 9001 in a practical, business-oriented way. So you can contact me using the email shown on the screen or send me a direct message on LinkedIn.